You're listening to Video Villa Podcast, Episode 11, Batman and Batman Returns by Tim Burton. So today we are going to talk about Logan's all-time favorite character in any universe, including this one, which is Batman. And as usual, with our love with Tim Burton, we are going to do Batman and Batman Returns, both written and directed, or just written?
Oh, no, he just directed them.
All right. Of course, as usual, I have Logan here with me, the diehard Batman fan. So since this is one of Logan's all-time favorites, I'm going to let him lead the way in episode 11, because he's definitely going to have more information than I ever would on Batman. So, Logan, how about you kick us off?
Well, it's like Batman is my all-time favorite superhero.
Yeah.
I mean, let's say just put that. He's my favorite comic book character. Like, hands down, Batman has been close and dear to me ever since I was little. Just like when we talked about last time about Beetlejuice with these movies. I can't tell you when the first time I saw him because my earliest memories were of Batman, Tim Burton's Batman, and then the Batman animated series and stuff.
Yeah.
I have always been a fan of Batman, even into my adult years. I mean, he is still hands down my favorite comic book character. I like Spider-Man, but it's like this. We're a Batman household.
Yeah. Logan definitely lives and breathes anything and everything Batman.
Yeah, I mean, like we got to live through some great stuff in the Batman like lore during the 90s and stuff like that. And as I got into my adulthood, the comics came out with some really cool storylines. I thought they were really good. And just something about the character I've always latched onto. I like characters with accessories, and Batman's got a shitload of accessories. So it's always been my favorite, especially when you bought like Batman toys. You got tons of like little gadgets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of my favorite toys growing up were toys with battle armor and stuff like that you can snap on and stuff. I mean, they were just hands down when I saw that in a little toy box with plastic, I'm like, that's what I want. I want that because it's not like I get one action figure. I get two action figures. Because as soon as you put the battle armor on, it's a new action figure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I would stretch my toys a couple of miles by picking out ones like that. But I mean, do you like Batman?
Yeah, I like Batman. I don't have any characters or comic
that are your favorite or anything like that?
Comic book characters or superheroes that are like my all-time favorite. That's just not something I ever invested myself in.
Okay. Did you like the Spider-Man movies?
No.
You didn't really watch them? Yeah.
And it's not that I don't like them, and it's not that I don't like the Batman movies. It's just I definitely feel like it's more of a boy thing. Not that girls can't be into that, but the whole superheroes and stuff like that was just more of a boy thing and just wasn't something that I was really much into as a kid.
Yeah, you seem like you don't really care for like action-y stuff. You were more like a comedy person. Like a lot of things that you...
Well, yeah, as an adult. And then as a kid, I was just like a traditional Disney kid. Disney movies, the animated movies, and just a lot of stuff from that genre, which obviously, I mean, Disney and DC are partnered. I think.
That's Marvel.
Or Marvel,
now, Marvel and Disney are partnered.
Yeah, so obviously those realms kind of mix, where if you see Disney, you're likely to see a Marvel movie. But yeah, that just wasn't anything we really paid any mind to in my household growing up.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Like to be honest, like I said, my earliest memories were of Batman. Like I remember watching the old Batman Hanna-Barbera show and the Super Friends. I loved the Super Friends. Because like I said, when I was little, like we didn't have but 3 channels on the TV, and Naomi, my mom's friend, would put it on the Cartoon Network late at night, and just hit record and fill up like a 3-hour VHS tape full of just cartoons.
Yeah.
So I watched a lot of like the Hanna-Barbera stuff with like Super Friends and stuff like that.
Yeah. Another thing is, and I think, like I said, not that anything is gender specific, and I'm not trying to say that in any way. But outside of that, you were obviously a son, and then you had a sister.
Mm-hmm.
So and your sister was kind of into that stuff too. But then I think I remember you saying she was also like into girly things. Versus I was just me and my other sister.
Yeah.
So we watched all the girly things besides like action movies and some mainstream scary movies. But whenever I would go over my grandparents, where my male cousin was, we would watch things like He-Man and like those cartoons. So yeah. So we had exposure to that, and I enjoyed watching those things. It just wasn't a primary choice of mine as a child.
No, yeah, I understand that. Like with me, I like I said, there's something about when you're so absorbable when you're little, and there's just something about Batman that I was just keen on, and he was just like, it had all my full attention. I loved the villains. There was the animated TV show that, because I mean, like I said, when these movies came out, they came out before I was, 89 came out before I was born. I mean, I was born in 89.
Yeah.
But, they obviously came out probably before I was even born. And then 92 came out, and I wasn't old enough to remember anything in 92.
Yeah.
But I just remember always having the VHS tape and the little like chest. We had our VHSs.
Yeah.
With that and
that's a big thing.
That and the Ninja Turtle movies, 1 and 2.
Yeah. Okay, so I take it back. I was into some superheroes, but that was just the Powderpuff Girls, which I don't even know if they can be. I mean, they are. They saved Townsville, so I think that's the name. Yeah, because it's the mayor of Townsville. Yeah, so so it is Townsville. Yeah, I loved me some Powderpuff Girls.
Is awesome. I love that show. It's funny. I
still can watch.
There's a lot of adult humor in it.
I watched it just a couple months ago.
Yeah. I didn't like I said, I haven't rewatched the remake.
Yeah.
Where they brought it back and stuff, but kept the same style of animation. I haven't seen.
Oh
any
yeah,
of those.
me neither.
I think that was like 2016 or something like that.
Yeah.
But the original that aired on Cartoon Network. Oh yeah, I ate that shit up. I love that because it started as a short on Cartoon.
Oh yeah.
I think that's what it was called, Cartoon. But it was like these animated shorts. Same thing was Dexter Laboratory before.
Yes, I loved Dexter.
It was on. I think it was called Cartoon. It came on Sundays.
Yeah, another cartoon I was super into was Cat Dog.
Yeah, and then I think Coward.
Courage the
Cowardly Dog. Yeah. That one was on there too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it became a full-blown series.
I wasn't down for Courage the Cowardly Dog as a kid.
I never really watched it, to be honest.
It was just weird. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
It was freaky.
But yeah, I mean, with back to Batman, I mean, it's always been my favorite comics to collect and read and stuff like that, because just something about the storylines, I don't know, I just really like someone with no powers fighting these people that have powers, and and you go into the Justice League. I mean, that's why I'm like the Justice League, reading the Justice League comics, because Batman's in it and stuff like that. And then I got so lucky to grow up with like such great writers writing Batman, like in the time that I was reading. Like Scott Snyder's New 52 line was amazing. Mm-hmm. It was fantastic. Even when it got towards the end and people started kind of like saying like, I didn't like the storyline. I'm like, what are you talking about? All from A to B, it's all good. And then after him, my favorite, which what's called, not everyone is a big fan, but there's different degrees of fans. Whatever. Yeah. I feel like it's more of a time gap error. Like I think I latched onto this character more because this writer more just because of the age and stuff I am when I was reading it and stuff like that. But Tom King, I will read anything he writes. I hands down love him. And he's such a sweet guy. He was the guy that, remember, we met him at Baltimore Comic Con. He was talking to Grace because Grace dressed up as Spider-Man. But great stuff. But yeah, so I if you give me an hour, I'll keep on going. But I'm going to stop here.
Yeah. So the way we have clustered today's structure, since it's not a normal episode, is first we're going to go in order by time. So Batman came out in 1989. I don't know if Logan already said that. So we're going to kick it off first with 1989 Batman.
Yeah, we're going to do Batman 89, and then we're going to talk about our favorite scenes, and then we'll talk about Batman Returns and talk about our favorite scenes, and at the end we'll say which one's our favorite.
Yeah. So in normal fashion, I will give you guys the breakdown of Batman 89. So in Batman 89, you have your traditional villain, which is Joker. And he is just trying to, I guess, end Gotham, or take over Gotham, like usual. Like most of the storylines. And in this movie, Batman's love interest, because he also seems to always have a love interest, because what's there to gain if there's no love interest? Yeah. His love interest is a photographer for the newspaper. What is her name again?
Vicky Vale.
Yeah, Vicky Vale, which, way to go on a catchy name. And that's a love interest, but she's also trying to report on the story of essentially Joker's antics and him trying to take over Gotham. And so you get that mix. You get some scene, or you get a big scene between Batman and the Joker in the art museum. Mm-hmm. And as usual, the Joker doesn't win. Batman wins. And Batman still has his love interest. So that's about as Becca breakdown as I think I can get it for y'all without telling you every detail that you may already know.
Yeah, this movie, I really like this movie. Rewatching it for the podcast. I mean, I've seen this movie so many times, but rewatching it for the podcast and trying to look at it like as under like a review lens and stuff like that. I will say, this movie it set the mold for superhero movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, till this movie, you had Superman that came out in the 70s, and then but by that time, and we finally got a Batman movie, and it was just the complete opposite of the Superman movie, as it should be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's I don't know. I don't know. It's such a it just screams the 90s, that late, 80s era and stuff like that. It's dark, it's gritty. Rewatching these movies gave me a lot more respect for Tim Burton and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. And they followed, like you said, to mingle the two together real quick. They followed the same aesthetic, essentially. Mm-hmm. They were gloomy. Mm-hmm. Gotham was gloomy at that time. It's a very grayscale without being a black and white film, obviously. It gives you that sense of doom feeling, but then you do get some scenes that are a little bit brighter and a little bit more lively. So it definitely followed suit with the traditional Batman movies where Gotham, is experiencing a potential takeover, as well as Tim Burton movies where you have that grayscale, that gloomy doom feeling, with still some, some spots of lightness, essentially.
I completely agree. And that's the one thing I will say with Nolan did it. I mean, he kind of stuck with the same feel throughout the movies, but I will say Gotham and Batman Begins and Gotham and the Dark Knight, I feel like they're two completely different Gothams.
Yeah.
With this movie, I know they changed up the set design and stuff like that and Wayne Manor between the two movies, but when you watch the Burton universe, it feels the same. It is the same feel between the two movies. I mean, yes, you can say the second one's darker, but it still kept the same feel.
Yeah.
You didn't feel like you're stepping into a completely different movie with them, with the way Batman Begins and then Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises, how those were they just didn't feel like the Begins. They didn't feel
and also
Gotham.
This is just a reference. It doesn't back to the grayscale and that doomy feeling when you see Gotham. I feel like whenever DC has done it, no matter who's doing it, it's not overdone. I don't know if you've ever seen a movie or a TV series where that gray, doomy feeling, they do it too well to the point where it makes you feel gray and gloomy while you're watching it.
Oh, feel depressed?
Yeah, the one thing I can relate to, and this is, no jab at it, but there are some Game of Thrones episodes where they're just so just gray and gloomy that it's like, oh my God, like open the blinds and turn, like, let some light in, because it's just absorbing, which, I mean, that means they are doing their job good. They are getting that feeling very, very much so across. But I do feel like sometimes it can just be a little bit overdone. I mean, movies are supposed to be escape, you would hope.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And yeah, so when it's very gloomy like that, you're like, well, this is doing the polar opposite.
Yeah.
Same thing if you watch a really sad movie, you're like, well, shit. Like,
well, that's one thing is like, that's why I like going to theaters. When I go to the theater, like, I get completely immersed in the movie.
Yeah.
Like, it's like the only thing I think about at that moment of time is just me watching the movie. That's it. That's all I care about. And when you can watch a good film that makes you feel immersed into it, I feel like they're doing a really good job. And that's what I feel like. That's what it should be like. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's escape of realism and stuff like that. So just because, like, especially with these, like, some stuff just doesn't make sense in some of the parts of the movie. But like, it didn't matter to me, especially with watching this through a child's eye. I mean, it's definitely, it definitely gives off like fantasy vibes. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Like, and every kid, when they are, their imaginations are at their peak, they're thinking about, being the hero, or, maybe even thinking about being the villain sometimes. And that's very appealing, I would imagine, for a child to watch, because, behind closed doors, that's how they play, and that's their imaginary play as well.
Yeah. I mean, this movie is crazy because, like, this movie literally was 10 years in the making. They started working on this movie in like 1979. That's when they got the idea to let's do a Batman movie. And literally 10 years later, it comes out.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. Couple, another popular fact that was very popular when I started like getting into like when the internet got more popular and you can like Wikipedia shit.
Yeah.
And stuff like, that's when like
Ask Jeeves.
I don't know who used to Ask Jeeves.
Oh, me? It was fun.
But yeah, like a couple like history stuff where they like, originally they wanted Jack Nicholson to be it, but apparently there was like Robin Williams was up for offer for the Joker role, but he was offered it when there was slight hesitation in like Jack Nicholson department, and then he got like some crazy contract deal, negotiation deal, and they ended up giving it to him after like they kind of like led on Robin Williams.
Aww,
and that bled into the second movie. Well, it was the second or third one. I can't remember, because there was also talk about him being the Riddler too, and that he even got screwed over, and Jim Carrey got the Riddler. It's like they did it to the man twice. I can't remember the full breakdown and reason behind it, but
all right, well, whoever did that, fuck off. And whoever did it twice can really fuck off.
You can.
I mean, I get it. There's good fits, and then there's better fits, and that's. Yeah. I imagine, of course, that's a part of the industry that all of them are in, but still.
Yeah. It was so funny because like when this movie came out and they said Jack Nicholson was going to be the Joker, everyone was happy. But as soon as they said like Michael Keaton was going to be Batman, they were just like, "Are you kidding me?" Like,
really?
Yeah. Like, because well, think about Michael Keaton. Like, he is just a man. Like, he wasn't a muscular like.
Yeah, I guess when you're talking about the aesthetic wise, but I mean, you can put fake muscles on anybody.
Yeah, but the thing is also like you got to realize like a lot of things like his like Mr. Mom. You know what I mean? Remember, like people like he had that comedy character, that comedy persona, and like it took a lot of like convincing in him to do it through like Tim, and if like he's like if you think I could do this, Tim, what's called he's like I'll do it.
Yeah,
and then that's when they came with agreement. But even though they got tons of backslash, like Tim Burton was like no, like Michael Keaton, he's gonna be Batman.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And what's called I'm not changing.
Yeah, I mean, I think they put the nail on the head with Jack Nicholson to, go off of that. He just seems like a crazy guy. You just look at him and he just seems crazy. I don't know if he's nice. I hope he's nice. I hope all these people are nice, but that's unfortunately not always the case. But Yeah, he just seems crazy. He just seems like an on edge kind of guy. So that's perfect pair for Joker.
Yeah.
It's unpredictable, weird, makes you kind of like it makes your skin crawl a little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
Some of the comments he makes, and it just seems sleazy.
Him being the Joker, you can tell he was just having fun with it because some of the shit he does, I'm like, I know that's not in the script. What the hell what's he doing?
And then for Michael Keaton being Batman, I think he did a really great job. He had a very serious feel to him, in my opinion. And at the same time, somewhat of a soft, subtle appearance or whatever when it comes to the love interest.
Well, he's very mysterious.
Yeah,
and that they said like he had more dialogue, and they took out. I can't remember if it was Michael Keaton who said they scrapped half of his dialogue to give him more of that mysterious
ominous feel.
Yeah, that mysterious persona, which I think did very well.
Yeah, I will say though, in any Batman movie, I don't think Batman ever says much.
It depends on the movie.
You maybe get like 2 sentences in an interaction, and then other than that, it's usually like 3-word sentence.
Yeah, it depends on like how you're getting, because like it also like I will say like depends on the era of when the comics were written and who's writing the comics, because there is time like there is like.
I'm not talking about the comics. I'm talking about the movie.
No, I'm just saying Batman in general. I'm just saying Batman, like, yes, Batman doesnn't talk a lot, especially if you're going to read like a Justice League comic. He's not one with a lot of dialogue. If you're going to like look at like the latest Batman movie, you don't really see him talking a lot either in that one either, except for when he's trying he's doing detective work with Alfred in the Batcave and stuff like that. So that's like when you see like more of him like being verbal. But yeah, you're right. I mean, he is an ominous character, and with them taking away the dialogue, I really think that helped out a lot. Another funny thing was at the time at the movie, he was actually dating Michelle Pfeiffer, the first one.
Oh, wow.
And they were thinking about her auditioning for Vicky Vale, but like Keaton wasn't kind of against it because he didn't think it would be a good idea with them being in the same movie together, which is funny.
Yeah.
Because then she's in Batman Returns. Now, I don't know if they had broken up by that point. I didn't look too much into their personal life.
Oh, yeah.
But I thought that was funny when she was...
if you leave it to me, I'll find it out.
Yeah.
I'll find out anything.
But yeah, I thought that was really funny. And then I remember watching a documentary too when... I can't remember, it was like one of the A&E documentaries or something like that. But they were talking about how like the aesthetic of the set, one of the people that worked on the movie said like Tim Burton literally walked around with The Dark Knight Returns, like the comic, on his hands, and it was like, I want it to, and like would constantly like point at it, like I want it to look like this, I want it to look like this, and that's like that feel of Gotham. Definitely, you can see where it translates from kind of that dirty, dark storyline pages to the actual movie.
Yeah,
I mean, it's still his. This movie does have a Tim Burton feel.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it screams Tim Burton.
No.
But it definitely has a Tim Burton feel.
Yeah, he has his own twist on it, but I also think it stayed true to what it needed to stay true to.
Yeah, and the movie...
To appeal to the people.
The movie won Academy Award for Best Art Direction. So this movie did well. I mean, it was the biggest movie.
Yeah.
Like the biggest movie of all time during that time. It was huge. It made so much freaking money. There was... like textbook advertisement. I know they were talking about how they were having trouble keeping the advertisement up in New York City because they just kept getting stolen because people wanted it, because it was a big deal. It was the first Batman movie. And it was so different from the Batman 66 era and stuff like that with Adam West and stuff.
Yeah.
It was so like, I'm so glad we got away from that, because I was not a big fan of that stuff growing up. Just not a huge fan of it. Grand would play it for me and stuff like that. But I just... I had already at that point saw the animated series and stuff like that, where it was already dark and stuff. So I really didn't care to watch it. But the main reason why Keaton got the movie is because he did that movie Clean and Sober, and they saw like, oh, this guy can be a serious character. And also his eyes.
Yeah.
He's got very defining features in his eyes. And when you look at Batman, that's all you really see is his eyes.
Well, yeah. That's what makes the statement.
Yeah, and they said his eyes really sold the character when he's underneath the cowl and stuff like that. And that really helped him like persuade the audience that he was Batman. And then, of course, we can't talk about Batman without talking about the Danny Elfman score, which is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Same thing from, same third time working with Tim Burton. So his second time working with Tim Burton was on Beetlejuice, like we said last time.
Yeah, Tim Burton definitely seems like a guy that if he likes you, he'll bring you back.
Oh yeah, 100%.
If he wants you, if you have that Tim Burton style that he's looking for, it seems like you're sold to him. He's going to bring you back. Well, yeah, try to bring you back.
Like, so we had the writers Sam Hain and Warren Scarin, and what, like I said, when we talked about Beetlejuice, yeah, he was one of the writers on Beetlejuice, and they needed some rewrites, so Tim worked with him before, so
I mean, it makes sense.
Brought him over to the Batman set, helped with rewriting like the third act of the movie and stuff like that. But yeah, this movie just great execution, great soundtrack. I mean, it's just overall, I think, a movie of its time that will continue to it's 2023 and you can still watch it and enjoy it and don't really it doesn't truly fully feel dated except for some of the technology, but you don't care, that's not something you really care about because it stands the test of time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I would say, what were some of your favorite scenes from Batman 1989?
Yeah. I like the Ace Chemical. Well, not the Ace Chemical. I forgot what they renamed it. It's not the Ace Chemicals, but it's when they're at the chemical plant and Joker becomes Joker.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I really like that scene growing up a lot. That one kind of it almost scared me a little bit when there's that nasty hand comes out of the boiling boiling toxic waste or whatever. Oh. Something about that when I was little just made me I don't know, it just made me gross.
Heebie-jeebies?
Yeah, well, same. Did you pay attention to so he stops the muggers in the beginning of the movie? Did you they just look like meth addicts?
Yeah.
Their faces all look just rotted and looking.
Yeah.
That grossed me out so much when I was little.
Yeah.
It made my skin crawl.
That makes sense. Yeah, it's the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say one of my notable scenes, and I just think it's because it's funny, is when Vicky Vale is at the art museum, or I think it's the art museum.
Yeah, it's a dinner. They're at a dinner, but it's got new artwork.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's very weird.
And the Joker comes in, and him and his crew are dancing around and spray painting things,
playing the Prince song.
And there's this super weird artwork, and he's like, leave that.
Yeah,
I like that.
It's very demented looking.
Yeah, it's like a Two-Face thing.
It's
not literal Two-Face,
I don't know if
but
it's something being beheaded or something like that.
Yeah, or something like that. I forget the exact image.
It's very morbid. It's morbid.
Yeah, but it's funny how he's just like, Dad, leave that one.
I like that one.
Yeah.
Well, he does the same thing when he's looking through her photos. He's looking at models. Crap. Then he sees photos of dead people.
Yes.
This is good.
Yes.
I like this.
I just like that scene because it's silly and weird, but you're also it's playful suspense almost. You're like, well, obviously Joker's not going to just go up there and nothing crazy is going to happen.
It's like a cat
but
playing
you're like,
with his
what
food.
does he do? Yeah, you're like, what is he doing?
Yeah.
And it's weird enough that it pulls you in and you're like, what is about to happen? So obviously he has an initiative, and what his end goal is there, to get a hold of Vicky Vale, because then that means that Batman's going to come. Obviously that's his intent.
No, he wants Vicky because of her photography, because of what he did to his model lady. He's like, he's doing body artwork, and then he wants her to it's very weird. Okay, so you want her to take pictures of these people that you're mutilating by chemicals.
Yeah.
It's very weird.
But then I also feel like there was a hidden intention there of knowing that Batman's going to come, because he had seen in some of the photographs.
Maybe you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Hints that Vicky Vale and Batman may have some sort of intertwinedness to one another. And I may be utterly wrong. But yeah, that scene's probably if I had to pick one scene, it's my favorite scene because it's weird and you're like, what is he doing? Where are we going here? And then you finally see, like you said, what he was doing to his model girlfriend woman. And Vicky Vale does a very good job at, you see the wheel turning in her head of oh, you like my art, how she's trying to play reverse psychology, and she's like, I love what you did here. I love it, which very smart, girlfriend. So yeah, I would say that's probably my favorite scene from Batman 89.
Yeah, there's so many good scenes. You got when like so when when the Joker is basically taking over as becoming like the new crime boss and stuff like that, and he meets with all the other people that that he will be looking over, and then he uses like literally like a gag and shakes that guy's hand, and it basically just fries him, whatever, and he turns into that like skull or whatever. That part is like just. That was another part that like terrified me when I was little. Like I mean, like I said, I'm like when I'm watching this movie, I am saying like I am 4 or 5 years old and stuff like that. Like I am little, so like that's definitely one of those scenes where I would say that's probably up there with one of my favorite scenes. It's creepy, it's malicious, and it just really sets you up for like this man being the Joker, and he really nails it on the head. I mean, Jack Nicholson did a great job. I mean, he, like I said, you can tell he was playing with the character, and his goal was to just embody this, homicidal maniac that's just unpredictable. Mm-hmm. But what is there any other scenes that you can think of that you really like?
I'd probably say that one, and then also it is always a good reminder, or at least for this one, when they replay them leaving the movie theater as him as a child, and then you see the correlation between the mugger and what's the villain's name?
Joker.
Oh yeah, I don't know why.
But, who was named Jack Napier.
Yes.
So but before he's been the Joker, yes.
And you see that where he makes the comment, what does he say? I'll see you. Or,
you ever dance with the devil and
yes. I promise I paid attention. But yeah, so that's a nice scene where you get some not necessarily foreshadowing, but you understand the background, and then you see that it clicks in Batman's head that is who it was when he was a child,
which is really funny. So, when they're doing press for this movie, Michael Keaton was on before the movie had came out. Michael Keaton was on David Letterman, and he was talking about this scene, completely spoiling the movie.
Oh shit!
It's so funny because he just I mean that would not happen. Like
nowadays they would just cut it short. Yeah.
I mean, well, that episode wouldn't air. It wouldn't go on TV. You know what I mean? They would probably had to do something because all the NDAs and stuff like that. But yeah, it was so funny because you can still go find it on YouTube.
I'll have to watch
of him literally just saying like, oh, he finds out that the Joker killed his parents when he was little. It's like,
yeah.
And they're like, why in the world would he think not to tell it? I don't know. I guess. Movies like that,
you're just talking.
I guess movies like this hadn't came out yet. You know what I mean? Like real like comic booky movies and stuff like that, where there is a twist and it's like meant to be like secret or whatever. I don't know. I thought it was crazy when I saw that.
What I do want to know, and it's in relation to this one, is why does Joker just always like bomb things, but not with fire bombs? I mean, usually, sometimes, yes. But with these, like, chemical... I mean, obviously, maybe it's because he was dropped into chemicals, whatever.
Yeah.
But I feel like, without fail, Joker's, like, first or second course of attack is doing, like, the gas bombs. For some reason.
Yeah, he's always working with chemicals and stuff like that in the comics.
Yeah, which it makes, like I said, it makes sense because of how he became who he is. But it's like, come on, just think of a different initial.
There's actually a really funny storyline in the Batman Rebirth series where the Joker goes to a family's house, and because he's just so freaking crazy, he goes to this family's house and he's telling them like, I'm waiting for my invite to Batman's wedding.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
He murders the entire family and kills them all.
Yes.
Damn well knowing an invite's not going to be sent to their house.
It's just a random family, a random poor innocent family.
It's really like, unfortunately, it's really funny. But
so funny.
Well, it's that, and there's another because that leads up to another book in the series where he's at a wedding. And he's holding the wedding up for hostage, and he's doing it because he knows Batman's going to come. And then he's like, he grabs a hostage. He's like, you come any closer, I'm going to blow her brains out or whatever. And he accidentally shoots her. And he's like,
God.
he actually shoots the person and he throws him down. He's like, come here. If you get any, he grabs another hostage. If you get any closer, I'm going to blow this one's brains out. Oh, it's like that character is just so psychotic and
just off the rocker.
Yeah, and it's
which, like I said, Jack Nicholson, I feel like was a very, very good choice.
Oh yeah, I mean, you got to think of we've gotten 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, now 6 Jokers. So we've got the Batman from the 60s. The actor slips my brain right now, so I can't remember. But then you got Jack Nicholson, Mark Hamill, which is the animated series. Heath Ledger, which was phenomenal. Which surprisingly, if you go back and watch Batman: Dark Knight, he literally is the best part of the movie.
Yeah,
the movie.
I'd like to go back and watch that one.
It's good movie, but if you really like this movie, wouldn't be so good if you took that character out because like other parts of the movie, I do feel kind of lag. It's like you're just kind of waiting in between scenes for the Joker to show up. And him just to really just eat that scenery. And then you got Jared Leto.
Oh, yeah.
I like to say it just reminds me of like Jack Sparrow on crack.
Yeah.
The way he played the Joker was just, I don't know what happened there.
I wonder if Johnny Depp has ever been considered for the Joker.
I don't know. I'm sure. I went down.
Someone knows, let me know.
I'm sure. Well, you see, like when a movie comes out, apparently they make a list, and there's
ideal candidates.
And it's like a mathematical equation on if you want.
Yeah, like if so and so is this person, then so and so definitely should be either A, B, or C.
Well, yeah. Quentin Tarantino talked about it a long time ago. Well, not a long time, but recently on a podcast where he was like saying, he's like, so for example, if you want them to do the movie, you don't put them at the top of the list because the studio's just not going to let you do that.
Yeah.
So what you do is you put people on the list that more than likely are going to say no, and you might want that person to be the third or fourth pick because that's just how the studios work.
People, yeah.
Yeah, and it's unfortunately like he said like it's a really crappy method how the studios make you pick people. And I know he's gotten away from that, but like when he was working on Pulp Fiction, like he had problems getting certain characters in that movie to play certain characters.
Certain actors play certain characters, and it was because of the studio's involvement. And they're like, well, we really want Johnny Depp in this role. He's like, well, I don't want Johnny Depp in that role. I want Tim Roth in that role. I don't want Johnny Depp. And he's like, and he's sitting there, he's like, well, but I really feel better if Johnny Depp was in this movie. And they're like, but he's only in the movie for like 5 minutes. Yeah.
What's the point in getting this big name actor to play this 5-minute role? I don't want that person. But I thought that was pretty interesting to see how like behind the scenes, how like studios work and shit like that.
All that kind of stuff is interesting. How they cast people, how they're looking for people. I think it's just absolutely crazy how how people are like, okay, I'm gonna write this. I'm gonna write a story about this guy named Batman. He's gonna be a superhero, and his biggest villain is gonna be someone named Joker. And then how this thought process becomes a story, which then comes to fruition and becomes this whole entire book, and then movie, and then franchise, and then series, and then a cartoon, or whatever order it's in. I'm out of order here. But that just always blows my mind. That just like, and then, it grows, and then you have these big name actors that take on these characters, and they become that character. Like when you think of that character, you think of that actor, and vice versa.
Oh no,
that has always just blown my mind.
Well, that's Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton's Batman. Michael Keaton is Batman. Like that's the thing that ever since this movie came out, like he had a hard time stepping away from being Batman.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things like he hadn't. That's not something he had experienced before because he never played like a character, like a
keynote character.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So, and I think it wasn't really like, to be honest, he really didn't get his footing back again. He was in movies that were good and he did decent movies, but like he really didn't get his footing back in until he did the Birdman movie and it won bucos with the Academy and stuff like that.
But yeah, so with that being said about Michael Keaton, we will go into Michael Keaton's second Batman.
Yes. With
Batman Returns from 1992.
Yes, this movie they brought back Sam Hamm. from the last movie. He did a really good job. He worked with Daniel Waters too, to with writing on the script and stuff like that.
And then who is the score for this one? Is it the same?
Danny Elfman.
Oh,
yeah.
Sorry.
Well, that was a funny thing because like the studio didn't even want him to do the first movie because he's a very eccentric person.
Yeah.
He's he was a singer from Oingo Boingo. He's a very intelligent, musically gifted man.
Yeah.
And sometimes people like, they kind of are like all over the place.
Yeah.
And when he was playing stuff for the studio, Danny said in an interview he was getting vibes when the guy who was playing the stuff for, he was getting vibes where in his head he was thinking of other producers they could call because it wasn't working out.
Yeah.
And then Tim Burton's like, play the march.
Yeah.
And then he plays on the Batman theme song.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay. This guy's got the job. This guy can do it. And so of course he comes back, and that Batman song is so freaking iconic.
Yeah.
I mean, oh my God, it's so freaking good. Like it's amazing.
Yeah, I will say with Batman Returns, his love interest in this one is probably by far my favorite.
Oh yeah. So Vicky Vale, that
was cute. That was sweet. But something about it being Catwoman, and you guys will hear this in my Becca breakdown in just a moment. But with Catwoman, it's sexy, it's wrong because she's a villain.
I love Catwoman.
Yeah, it's appealing.
Yes.
And it's like it's that urge to do what you're not supposed to do.
Yeah.
Which you shouldn't be doing. Like, technically, Batman shouldn't have a love interest with someone that's villainous.
Yes.
But he does. So it's that forbidden fruit type feel.
Yes.
Which Logan's like, yes. But so I would say that's probably my all-time favorite love interest because there's just so much appeal to it.
So Vicky Vale was in the comics, not a big character in the comics. Yes, she started back when Batman was one of his first love interests, and they brought her back and forth and stuff like that. She wasn't very huge.
Yeah, and then you also have there's another writer, one of the Batmans that he has a love interest for, right? Isn't there like another journalist or something?
You're thinking of Superman. That's what I was about to say. So Vicky Vale was like Batman's Lois Lane.
Yes, there we go.
In a nutshell, if you just want to make it as like, break it down very simple.
Apples, yeah.
Yeah, apples. Like, and she just wasn't. Lois Lane is more of a presence than Vicky Vale.
Yes.
You know what I mean, Lois Lane is a gun-ho. Like, I don't take shit from nobody.
Oh, yeah.
I will do what I want to do. I'm going to get the story. Obviously, this Vicky Vale did not persuade that. I'm not saying she had to, but they are very different. You can't put them together.
Vicky Vale wasn't as involved. She was more of an innocent character versus Lois Lane started to get involved, which, obviously we don't see that with Batman and Vicky Vale in Batman.
Yeah, Batman has he's went through women like quite a bit. One of the best storylines was with Batman the Mask of the Phantom. Or Phantasm or whatever. I can't remember exactly what it is. But that one, that storyline was great. With him and she, that would have to be its own review because that movie's so fantastic. But same thing like within the New 52 storyline with Scott Snyder, towards the end of the storyline, spoiler alert if you haven't read it yet, but
we'll give you a second to leave.
But towards the end of the storyline, like he basically something happens between him and the Joker, and he gets amnesia.
Yeah,
and we have this great storyline of him being with his this girl that he was in love with when he was really little, and now he's older, and they somehow been able to get back together. He doesn't have his memories, but he knows he's Bruce Wayne. Yeah. She doesn't know he's Batman, but she and stuff like that. And nor has Alfred reminding him he's Batman. He's left it a secret.
Side note, I love Alfred.
Yes.
I just love that Alfred exists.
Alfred's a great character in the comics. And
that's just so sweet.
That's another thing. Side tangent real quick. I'll get back to my main point. But that's another thing with the Batman. Matt Reeves is Batman.
Yeah.
I wanted more Alfred, and they threw him in the hospital for most of the freaking movie.
Yeah,
that really pissed me off. But I mean, sorry, it didn't piss me off. I didn't get that mad. But I wanted to see Andy Serkis doing more I wanted more Alfred.
Well, yeah, because in my mind, in my opinion, you don't really have a Batman without an Alfred.
True.
Alfred handles everything for Batman besides, chasing after villains.
Yeah.
But they, they're a pair, essentially.
But that's the thing is like, so with this storyline, what's called, it was Jim Gordon. Jim Gordon was found out that Batman. He knew who Batman was, and he was coming to Alfred. He's like, we need Batman back. We need him back now.
Yeah.
Something's happening. There's this murderer going on loose, and he's killing people. We need Batman back. And Alfred has this big scene. He was like, can you just leave the damn man alone? He gave Gotham so many years, and now he's happy, and you want to take all that away from him again?
Yeah.
Can you just leave the man alone? That storyline, and that's the end of his storyline before the New 52 ended, and they did the rebirth. But that storyline is fantastic. If you want it, if you pick up just the trades, it's the Bloom volume, and it's the Bloom villain or whatever. But I would definitely. If you want to read a good storyline, I think it's good. A lot of people shit on it, but I don't care what they think.
Yeah.
I think it's fan-freaking-tastic. I love it. So if you want a good one, I would say read that. But yes.
So now I will kick you guys off. I got to stop Logan because he loves Batman. He'll keep going, which he has every right to. But before we do the Becca breakdown, as usual, I think Logan has a few more details, right?
Yeah, just a little stuff about the movie. That's about it. Yeah. Mainly just like for this Batman and so for Batman Returns, it seems a little bit smaller.
Yeah.
Not as a big scale, but I don't know.
There's not a whole lot of extras. You get the villain, you get the try to take down the villain, and then you get the end.
Which people complained that there was too many characters. I have no complaints about the characters. I don't think there was too many characters.
Yeah, I mean, you get the villains like little crew of people, but they're not prominent.
Well, you got Max Schreck, you got Catwoman, you got Batman, you got Penguin. That's fine. I
was waiting to say the villain until my breakdown.
Oh, that's fine.
Well, now you all know the villain. Not that you already didn't know, but.
But I mean, like, I don't think this was too many characters. And if you watch this movie, this was this one where they literally just like gave Tim Burton the reins.
Yeah.
The studio wasn't fully like majorly involved in it. And that this movie was darker.
Yeah.
It was not meant to be a kid's movie.
Yeah.
They tried to.
It's PG-13. I was like,
They tried to merchandise it, but I thought this movie was basically the mind of Tim Burton. This was Tim Burton. Now Tim Burton gets to fully make his own Batman movie, and that's what this one was.
If there's one person I want to meet in person, it's Tim Burton.
Like I said,
if anyone knows if he's nice, let me know.
I know, I didn't speak super highly of him for when we talked about Beetlejuice, but I don't know why I did that. I feel bad about that now because I'm literally like, you know what? Like going back and watching these interviews with him and stuff like that, I'm like, no, he seemed like.
Shame on you, Logan.
I know. I'm sorry. But mind you, if you did listen to our Beetlejuice episode, I said that the sandworms came from Mars. They came from Saturn. I meant to say Saturn.
Okay, either way, y'all. Okay. The internet says one or the other. Let me tell you, can you just look at any fake planet and tell me what planet it is? Because I doubt you can. Because I can't, which if you're an astrologist, you probably could. So that's a very few of you, I'm sure. But either way, Saturn, Mars, somewhere in the outer space universe, there were sandworms. The end.
In the movie.
Yes.
But yeah, I feel bad about that because like going back, I'm like, man, this guy, he was a visionary director, and I think what happened was just towards the end of his career, I got tired of that style, and maybe I just started becoming a little bit of.
For Tim Burton, at least me.
Or curmudgeon about it. I don't know. I feel bad now. I take what I said back. But I didn't say anything bad. I just didn't speak super highly of it. But I really like this movie. I mean, you got Stan Winston's team working on the penguin effects, which was great. The Batman suit looks better. I don't know if you noticed. Did you pay attention to the symbol of the Batman suit? How it looked kind of funny on the first movie?
I mean, I didn't notice that it looked funny. I just...
Yeah, I mean, apparently, like, there's tons of stuff on the internet you can find, but there's words that saying basically they changed the design up a little bit just because they felt like the original design looked kind of weird.
Yeah.
So the design director, whatever, made a slight change last minute just to make it look more like a bat or whatever, which they corrected it for the making of this the second one. Is the classic Batman emblem. The suit's more sleeker. It looks more like less like a prototype. Like the first movie looked like a prototype, and a lot of people are saying like, okay, that was his first year of being Batman, so maybe that makes sense for it to kind of look prototype-ish. But I guess another thing is the first movie, you don't get a lot of Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
This one, you get a lot of Bruce. You get Bruce Wayne, and when I say you don't get a lot of Bruce Wayne, it's like like Bruce Wayne is a character himself.
Yeah.
And you don't get a lot of that character being Bruce Wayne. You get Bruce Wayne talking to Alfred, but you don't get the Bruce Wayne
out in the out in the wild type.
Like you get like in this one, which I like that. I like Bruce Wayne being Bruce Wayne in public and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I like seeing that on the screen. Another funny thing is like apparently Michelle Pfeiffer went through like 60 different cat suits throughout the making because they kept on ripping, and they were like $1,000 a piece.
Oh damn, yeah, that's crazy.
So yeah, they spent like $60,000 on just her outfits alone. I know Ben Affleck said like the Batman suit in the Batman v Superman was like $200,000 or something like that, because he was gonna ask if he could have it. Like, it's $200,000. He's like, never mind.
Yeah, y'all can keep that.
But
I feel like though, if you're an actor and you played in the movie, you should just get to keep your costume.
Well, Carrie Bradshaw, the character from Sex and the City. Shit, I forgot her name. The actress name, I forget it. I just know her character name. But she wrote in her contract that she got to keep the clothes.
Yeah, I mean that's a whole damn wardrobe. I'm just talking about your costume.
Yeah, no, it was like written in her contract, like whatever she wore, she got to keep because it was like expensive clothes and stuff like that. And that show went on for years.
She's working the system.
100%.
Power to her. But yeah, I just feel like if an actor is dedicated, and I get you're paying them, it's not volunteer work, but I just feel like that's something special. Like Michael Keaton 100% should get the costumes that contributed to how a lot of people know him, and same thing goes for Ben Affleck or Catwoman and whatever. Also the suit's made to fit them anyway, so like who else is going to get it?
Yeah, I mean I don't know, like if they
you're going to find someone that's Michelle Pfeiffer's exact same size.
No, that's
or Michael Keaton's exact same size.
That her suit is literally looked like it was painted on her. There's no way someone else could just flop in that. What I mean? And it fit them. It's also funny, like when this movie came out, there's like a bunch of negativity towards it because it was so dark. And then like a little kid went on a talk show, the Faith Daniels show. Like he was like a childhood movie critic, and he just talked a bunch of crap about the movie and how like it was against children. Bucko. I know. I was like, who made you say this, kid?
Yeah.
Like, I wonder what that kid's doing today, because I'm like,
I'll Google it later.
All right, what is going on?
What's his name?
Oh, I don't know the kid's name.
Oh.
It was the Faith Daniels show. Okay. And it was like a daytime TV show
out.
or whatever back in the 90s and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember seeing that, like those interviews, and like the kid's like, he's like, it's an attack towards children. I was like,
how?
Because it was really dark and violent. I'm like, what?
But the thing is, like, there are adults that were already super invested in Batman at that point in time. So
yeah, it was not. Okay, they try to market it towards kids with your whole, like, Happy Meals and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
But the thing is, this was not meant to be a children's movie. Tim Burton never meant this to be a children's movie. There is blood in this movie. There is, there is, like, the Penguin is a scary character in this movie. It was not meant for children. This was meant for people that had been reading the comic books for years and now are adults. But yeah, so...
All right, so resurfaced clip of a talk show segment showing 10-year-old Danny ripping apart Batman's returns as being too scary for kids and inappropriate. Well, nobody says for you, kid. You're 10. It's PG-13. Read the label.
Becca with the hot take.
Yeah, I mean, they make the label for a reason. I'm sorry your parents chose to show it to you. I'm controversial sometimes. Anywho, whenever you did that 10-year-old Danny, I hope you like Batman now as an adult.
And another thing with this movie, Michael Keaton had a hard time stepping back into the suit, because it was the first time he's ever replayed a character. So he was like, okay, well, every time he would get in his head and be like, well, what would Batman do? So he felt like he was playing a version of himself.
Yeah.
Like an imitation of himself.
Yeah.
And it took him a couple of days to step back and really be like, step a couple of days of filming, just be like, okay, no. This is we'll just play it like this is the first time. And hopefully it works. And I see no problem between Batman 1 and Batman Returns. I don't see any problem with the way Michael Keaton plays the character by any means.
Yeah, me neither.
The funny thing is, so the whip scene,
yeah,
and the Shrek department store, that was real.
Oh, that's
that was Michelle Pfeiffer literally whipping off the mannequins' heads. And that scene we saw, it only took her one take. She did it on the first take, and that's it. Well, that would be funny. That would be one.
The first take, and then there were no more takes. It was done in one take. that is one take.
I like to sandwich things.
Yeah,
I like to say something and say another thing and say that thing again.
Yeah, it's extra evaluation.
But yeah, I saw that. I was watching some old behind the scenes. Like it was a TV special that they did back in the 92. And it's like an hour long or so.
I like movie breakdown shows. Like we've watched some about Halloween.
Yeah, this was
John
like something
Carpenter.
like, it was like, I don't know if it came on ET or something or whatever. One of those like channels.
ET Phone Home.
One of those segments or whatever, but it's kind of cringeworthy because they added a bunch of other stuff into it.
Oh, yeah.
Like little intros with the host describing something and having like Catwoman show up or something like that. It was very cringeworthy. But yeah. Anywho, I thought that was crazy. And she went with she got with a legit whip specialist and learned how to do the whips.
Oh yeah, because there's that's the same thing with like being able to like ring in a cow or a sheep or a pig, anything you're trying to lasso. There's like truly a technique to it.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like so. Yeah, I imagine with a whip, there's like 100% a technique.
Yeah,
to do it.
because you gotta be careful. Like that, they go faster. It goes faster than the speed.
Yeah,
of sound.
it can break skin.
Well, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, well, obviously. But yeah, so I mean that makes perfect sense if that's gonna be her awarded weapon, then or accessory as Logan would call it, then yeah, she obviously would need to know how to use it. It's also cool how they obviously replicated the sounds on the back end of it as well. I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure the sound that plays when she strikes the whip may not.
I don't know
because
I do know like when a whip when that crack is like a very distinctive loud sound. So I don't know if that was added in post or if that was the actual sound of the whip.
Her
cracking.
Doing it, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, she literally got with a professional whip handler and like did real legit training with it. And, I mean, she went like that's the thing in this movie. Like the people went through it. Like the actors in it, Danny DeVito and Michelle Pfeiffer, Michael Keaton, they all went through it. Like this was a very hectic, 6-month long movie shoot. Half a year of your life was on a set of Batman. It was very tough for these people.
I will say half a year of someone's life is not that long. That's only 6 months. It's all in the verbiage.
I still think
a year.
That's a long time.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I mean, you have people though that gear up, and I'm not saying like, oh, they didn't work hard enough. I'm not saying that at all. But you have people that are supposed to be acting in a movie that prepare for a year and a half, especially if it comes to like losing weight, gaining weight, gaining muscle. Those people will be on like strict plans for almost a year to prepare for whatever role they're taking on. Yeah, I mean, people go to extremes for that. Yeah,
that was something like I think it was Castaway. They filmed the first half of the movie, and then Tom Hanks had to lose like 40 pounds. And I think they stopped production for like 4 months for him to lose the 40 pounds, and then went back and continued filming. I could be wrong, but I feel like that's what. I don't know. I feel like that's what I remember, but
I mean, I do know stuff like that happens. It's extremely unfortunate for
I mean,
the actor.
You watch Raging Bull with Robert De Niro. He's shredded, and you watch the end of the movie, and he's a fat blobbery mess. I think that was like one of the first times.
Tell us how you really feel.
No, he was playing the character, and like he at his later life got really fat and overweight, and he wanted to not wear a fat suit, and he actually gained the weight.
I mean that's one way to do it.
But anyway, back to Batman.
Are we ready to do the Becca breakdown?
Pretty much. I mean, with everything, I think I said everything. I will say like there was a funny thing with so the original Vicky Vale was supposed to be Sean Young.
Yeah.
And if you don't remember who she is, she's the android from Blade Runner. Remember when we watched Blade Runner? The girl with the really cool hair. So she was originally signed up to be Vicky Vale, but ended up getting in a horse riding accident, breaking her arm or whatever. Because there was going to be a horse riding scene in the Batman movie, and they just ended up scrapping it. And that's when they, oh my God, I forgot her name. But anyway, that's when they got the Vicky Vale that they ended up getting.
Yeah.
And she apparently wanted to be Catwoman so bad.
Aww.
She dressed up as in a cat suit
and
went to the Warner Brothers studio and went to the producer's office. I think Tim was there too.
And tried to convince
and literally
him.
Jumped on the table in the cat suit and acted like Catwoman. And literally was like, I was born to play this role. It was didn't just showed up and just did it.
Yeah, I mean, she went balls to the wall. If you really want something, you gotta wow.
She didn't get it, but
that's unfortunate.
It's a crazy story. I thought.
Yeah. That's extremely unfortunate. But Michelle Pfeiffer did a great job. So.
Oh my God.
But yeah, so here I go with the Becca breakdown for Batman Returns. So in Batman Returns, your villain in this one is Penguin, and if you thought the Joker makes your skin crawl, Penguin takes it up a notch. And you also have Penguin's little gang, which is just like a gang of weird clowns or whatever. Pretty much just
Triangle Gang, the Red Triangle Gang.
Yeah, so Triangle Gang, it's a gang of misfits.
Yeah.
Essentially, underground misfits. And they're trying to take over Gotham because Penguin wants to be mayor or governor of Gotham. And you also have a crooked mayor currently.
No. Next, he's not the mayor. He's like a
politician.
He's like a Donald Trump. Like he owns a business. No, he's not. No.
I'll say Donald Trump
before he became president.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Trump Towers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have a Gotham businessman that's very well known, which is who. So you have a twofer in the villain field for Batman Returns. You have Catwoman, who is a villain, but also is kind of like playing both sides of Batman's side a little bit, but also Penguin's side, because she's not at first playing Batman's side. And then obviously you have Batman. Wouldn't be Batman without Batman. And Batman's main goal is to stop Penguin from becoming mayor.
He basically knows that this persona Penguin's put
it's fake. So Penguin
fake,
tries to
but everyone doesn't know that.
Yeah, so Penguin essentially is a child that was given up because of his, unique attributes, we'll say that nicely, and is living underground, and he just wants to understand his story that he's pulling out is that he just wants to understand why his parents did what they did, and he wants to show his parents that he really is worth something, and he feels the way to do that is by becoming mayor of Gotham. So you get Batman trying to take down Penguin and trying to reveal who Penguin's really is, as well as Michael Keaton. When he's not being Batman, he starts to catch on to the crooked Gotham businessman who is, what's his name?
Max Schreck.
Yeah. So that's pretty much the basis of the movie. Then you also get the love interest, which is Catwoman and Batman.
Kim Basinger was her name. Yeah, that was Vicky Vale.
Okay. Backwards,
it came to me. I had to say it.
But yeah, so then you have the love interest of Batman and Catwoman, and as I said, this is the first villain, from my understanding, that Batman has a love interest for. And essentially that's it. So Penguin does not get governor, FYI. Penguin also has a herd of penguins underneath Gotham. And yeah.
If that was any confusing, I don't think so.
I don't think it was confusing.
No, I mean, it is one of those movies, you definitely want to have to pay a little bit of attention to it. It's not as straightforward as the first movie. I would definitely say.
Yeah, you have more intricacies to it, but in my opinion, it's straightforward. You have Catwoman, you have Penguin. They're both villains. Catwoman is like a newfound villain, so maybe she's a villain, maybe she's not, because she sometimes saves women that are being, attacked.
Yes.
But she also has it out for Batman.
Yes, yes.
But she also has a thing for Batman.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like
girls are weird.
I don't know. Like it is definitely like I like the storyline of this one a lot. Like I like the Max Shrek character. And like I said, we get to see Bruce Wayne being Bruce Wayne, and in the movie he has he shows up to Max Shrek and he's like, listen here, I've gotten with the mayor. All right, and we're not going to have this.
Yeah.
This is not going to have this power plant you're trying to build. It ain't going to happen.
Oh yeah,
Max.
that's his end goal.
Yes,
and essentially, so the intertwinedness here is Michelle Pfeiffer, Catwoman, who is also goes by
Selena Kyle.
Yeah, Selena Kyle starts working for Shrek essentially, and
she's an assistant.
Yeah, an assistant, and they like treat her like fucking shit. They're just sleazy businessmen that like think women can do nothing but make coffee and get you your lunch orders and your laundry orders. And she has it out for her boss because he like treats her like he also tries to kill her. Let me put that out there too. But he also treats her like shit on top of putting her through a window.
Yes.
That's added to the breakdown.
I'd say like he like just treats her like
Yeah,
trash.
It's like, yeah. I mean, unfortunately, there was a day and time where that was very common when women entered the workforce, that male, specifically in the market, like the business industry, men treated like women like I said, like you just wait on them hand and foot, and that's your purpose.
I mean, they made a whole TV show about it. It's called Mad Men, basically.
Yeah, true. But I meant in real life that was a thing.
But yeah, like this, I can't say enough. Like I think this movie, I don't understand when I see people who have negativity towards this one versus the first one. I was like, this one feels more like a comic book movie though.
Oh, I agree. I feel like Batman 1989, it was very basic.
I do like the first one, but
I'm not saying I don't like it,
that movie's not slow. That movie is slow.
It's not necessarily that it's slow. It's very straightforward. You go straight to the climax and you come straight back down, and that's the end.
Yeah, but I feel like it took its time to get there. I really do feel like, even Tim Burton said he like when he shot the first one, he didn't want to do a second one because he goes, to be honest, he goes, I didn't like the first one. I thought it was boring. Yeah. And that's when they like he literally just did, like I said, this is a Tim Burton movie.
Yeah,
this is a Tim Burton Batman movie, and I think that's why I like it a little bit more. It's got a little bit more theatrics. It's got a little bit more of that Tim Burton pizzazz on it, of like really cool looking design. Like I love the design of Gotham in this one with the giant statues.
Yeah,
I love the feel of it, how it takes place in the winter and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, it takes time at Christmas.
Yeah.
So does that make it a Christmas movie?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
100%. Yeah, it's definitely a Christmas movie.
Logan knows what road I was going to go down on this.
It's definitely a Christmas movie. Yes, it's a Christmas movie. And Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Well, okay. Would you say Home Alone's a Christmas movie? It takes place during Christmas, right? So it's a Christmas movie. That's what makes a Christmas movie. It's got to take place during Christmas. Lethal Weapon 1 is a Christmas movie.
We're talking about Batman.
Okay.
Although
you got me fired up.
Yeah. Although you do have fair points. We're talking about Batman.
Yes, I will. I will rein it in, you guys. I will rein it in.
We'll bring it back to you around Christmas time.
Yes.
The great debate.
But no, like this movie, this is the one I've seen the least amount of times because I didn't own this VHS tape growing up. But I will say I love this one. The video game on like the Super Nintendo and Sega and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Batman Returns is such a fun game. It's so awesome. I mean, this one really set the tone for the Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah.
Like this, I mean, the way Tim Bruce made the characters and Catwoman and that series and drew the characters, it's just like this really led it to like, no, we can do something dark like the TV, like the movie.
Yeah.
And that was a big thing for them. Like the success of these movies and stuff like that. Definitely took Batman, introduced Batman to the full black suit.
Yeah.
He had a full black suit because usually his suit for most of the time was gray and blue or black and gray, but mainly gray being the dominant color.
Yeah.
And this introduced like the full black suit of the Burton universe, which made its way into the comics in the early '90s. Once this got big, you could start seeing like the JLA series like that. Oh God. Anyway, I'll come back to it when I can remember. But when you go back to the JLA during the '90s and stuff like that, we got the black suit, mainly Batman, for a very long time.
Yeah.
The anime series did the gray suit, but anyway, that's besides the point. But yes, it's just there's so much stuff that we got out of this universe that Tim built. This was not a sequel. This was just a completely different story. This wasn't we didn't take place right after the.
I feel like it was just a completely different vision.
Yes, and that's the thing is the only thing that I can remember that he makes reference to is just the one little part where he talks about Vicky Vale for a little bit.
Yeah.
To Catwoman. That's the only reference I can really think. I could be wrong, I could be wrong, but that's the only reference I can make between this one and the last one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I can't think of any other ones either.
Yeah. So this was its own story, and I like that. I like to be able to just like talk about one, watch it, and then a complete because that's what sometimes comic books will do that, and they'll stop a storyline, just completely go on to something else, and they don't need to reference the last book.
Oh yeah, I mean when they're unique in their own right. So for this one, what was probably your favorite scene? I have two.
So I have quite a few. I actually have quite a few. You tell me your two favorite scenes because mine will probably go a little bit longer.
Okay, I would say my favorite scene is Michelle Pfeiffer's
transformation scene.
Selena Kyle's transformation into Catwoman. I always find that interesting. And then this isn't necessarily a favorite scene, but I really like Catwoman in general. Like I said, it brings a huge sex appeal to it.
Yes.
And it's just very cool. It's not something you would normally see in this movie. You usually, when you have someone as strong as like a superhero, the people that they fall in love with are kind of just like Joe Smo people, women or whatever. And Catwoman was a very like dominant because Selena Kyle like took shit from people and kind of just like said stuff under her breath or whatever. But when she became Catwoman, she's like, no, well, like when I'm Catwoman, these people can F off essentially, and like I'll kill them. Which it's cool to see that transformation in general outside of sex appeal, had a just general appeal to it because it was out of the norm.
Well, yeah, I mean, like I mean, that was always my favorite stuff. Reading Batman comics, I loved it when they brought in a love interest with between Batman and Catwoman, and like I've always the anime series, like first time me seeing Catwoman was to my first memory of Catwoman is Michelle Pfeiffer, and then the animated series and stuff like that. And then when I started reading comics, I mean, you got the Hush storyline, which is famous with Catwoman. Jim Lee's artwork is amazing, and then you get the storyline that Tom King wrote for not the most current but from the Rebirth series of how he played on those characters and stuff like that, and had led to them getting married and all that other stuff that happened and stuff like that. I don't want to go too much detail because I don't want to ruin anything if you haven't read the series or whatever. But
yeah, so what was your favorite part? Your most favorite part out of your few favorite parts?
I mean, I will agree with you. Like, I do like Michelle Pfeiffer becoming Catwoman.
Yeah, I also like when the sign turns into
hell here instead of hello there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really like that scene a lot. Basically, anytime she's on screen, like when she goes to the Penguin's lair and talks to him and she's being all cat-like.
Yeah.
She actually put a bird in her actual mouth. She literally did put that bird in her mouth.
So did Ozzy Osbourne.
That was a bat.
Oh.
And he ripped its head off.
Either way, it was something with wings, and people put it in their mouth. So
she actually did that. Like she didn't have to. She actually did that, and she did it multiple takes.
Which is concerning because it was probably a pet bird, so maybe it doesn't have as many diseases. But
yeah, I'm sure. They
aviaries usually have
diseases.
Yes,
but she fully committed to this role. Same thing with Danny DeVito. I mean, he fully committed to being
I
the
love
Penguin.
Danny DeVito.
He was the he was the Penguin
Yes,
offset.
the Penguin's just weird.
Yeah.
Just weird. Even like us just watching it the other day, it just makes me cringe.
Mm-hmm.
The things he says, and he's so like. You think Joker's sleazy? He's like really sleazy.
Yeah, he's very
like,
sexual.
Yes,
Yeah.
like trying to have sex with any woman he sees once he comes out of that
Yeah.
swamp, that underground sewage. And when he's like squeezing the fan's boob, trying to put a pin on it, it's like
Yeah, that's very
it
uncomfortable.
literally makes me like visually cringe.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, like I don't know. I can't. To be honest, I love everything. Like all these scenes, I love everything about this movie. Like I can't really. There's a couple of things in the movie that I could say I wasn't super crazy about.
Yeah.
I'm definitely, and I'm also glad, to be honest, like with these two movies, I'm like, they were words with trying to bring in Robin. I'm actually glad they didn't bring Robin in to these movies.
Yeah.
Robin was supposed to be in the first one. He didn't need to be in the first one. They didn't want him in the first one, and so that's why they exited out that part of the movie.
Yeah.
Because it was a whole thing with the Joker killing the flying great, his mom and dad killing them and stuff like that, and and they were going to bring him back for this one. Marlon Wayans was going to play him, and to be honest, I'm just glad they didn't do it. I don't think, like, if you brought in the Robin character and try to introduce a Robin storyline into this movie, I just don't think it's necessary. I just don't. There wasn't room for it. I think the storyline we got. I like the corrupted man, Max Schreck, that Bruce Wayne's trying to come bring down.
Yeah.
And then he comes intertwined with the Penguin. And then this entire time, the Penguin has a plan that he wants to do that we're not aware of, but we know he's working up to it. And then you find out in the movie, oh, my plan is I'm going to kill every firstborn son of Gotham.
Yeah.
I'm going to kill all these children. Or children that are now adults. I'm going to go kill them all. It's like, what? Like, it comes out as so left ball field, and it's like that's fucked up.
Yeah, I know. I agree. And like I said, he does a very good job at like trying to tell the public this like woe is me victim. He goes to his parents' grave and says a spiel, and he changes his creepy, heavy, out of breath voice when he's talking to the people, and this whole victim mentality when like really he's just like weird.
Yeah, the whole time Batman's like, something's fishy.
Oh yeah, literally.
All puns intended. I wrote that down. I want to make sure I said it.
Silly, goofy mood. But yeah, I mean, altogether, I have a good bit of favorite parts. But like I said, the things that stand out are Catwoman becoming Catwoman. I will say though,
I do like the scene also when they're dancing.
Yes.
When they find out that they are who they are.
Yeah.
I really like that scene a lot.
But I also really liked when, oh my gosh, why can I not think of her name?
Selena Kyle?
No, Catwoman. She was in High Fidelity as well. I don't know why it's on the tip of my tongue. She also plays Batman.
You mean she plays Catwoman, you mean?
Catwoman, yeah. Batman suddenly became a she.
Something
Zoe.
Kravitz. Yeah. Zoe Kravitz.
Yeah, Zoe Kravitz. I really liked when she played Catwoman, too.
Oh, she did fantastic.
She was super sexy.
I haven't felt like that. I haven't felt like that.
I haven't felt like that since I was a kid and I saw Michelle Pfeiffer.
100%. 100%. She was... she embodied the Catwoman from the comics.
Devious. She was trying to do good things, but then she was, down to do, be a villain as well.
Yeah, it was great.
It also helped.
Fantastic.
I mean, it also helped that they made Catwoman also like a go-go dancer, so that adds some appeal to it. But
she was a cat burglar in the movie, and they played her as a cat burglar in this movie.
Yeah, but she's trying to save her friend, and that one was a good one.
Yeah.
She did a great Catwoman.
Anne Hathaway in the Nolan verse, I didn't hate her Catwoman. I'm not going to lie, I didn't hate her Catwoman. The thing that, I know this is small, what really bothered me that she had that super long hair, and the fact that her Catwoman outfit didn't look right with her Catwoman outfit. I didn't like that. No, girl. Yes, Catwoman has had long hair before. Jim Ballant, or whatever. He's famous for creating the the purple cat suit with the knee-high boots, and she had long hair. That's my favorite Catwoman look.
Yeah.
Is his Catwoman outfit.
Yeah.
From the comics, like that was after the animated series.
Yeah.
So that's 93, because I think the animated series started in 92, literally right after this movie came out or so. And then in 93 is when he did it, and eventually he ends up getting rid of the long hair or whatever. But I love that Catwoman. I got a magnet. We got a magnet on the fridge downstairs.
Yeah.
Like that is my favorite Catwoman outfit.
I like collecting magnets.
But then when Jason Fabok, I don't know how you pronounce his last name, but when he drew, there was multiple covers of I think it was, I can't remember if it was for Batman 50 or whatever. But he drew a cover of the gray and blue Batman.
Yeah.
And then but also with the Catwoman by Jim Bellant.
Mm-hmm.
That art way he drew Catwoman, I think Jim Lee did a great job when he brought the he didn't. Darwin Cook started the whole black suit with the goggles.
Yeah.
That's more prominent in now time.
Yeah.
He started that, and then but he had a very specific style.
Yeah.
That was more like the animated series style, that Tim Bruce style.
Yeah.
But then when Jim Lee adapted it, he brought it more modern, in which they've just stuck with that for like the longest time. But I like that style. But I just that purple with the long hair and the whip. But anyway, I don't know why I got off talking about Catwoman.
Because it's worth talking about. She is her own character in her own right. Just like
and
when Michael Keaton plays Batman or Ben Affleck, she embodied the character, and the people that came after her really embodied the character as well in their own ways.
I am, and I'll be straight up honest. Like, I am a Batfleck fan. I like Ben Affleck's I like Ben Affleck as Batman. I have no problems at all. I very much like Ben Affleck's.
Yeah, are you getting tongue twisted over there? Too much Catwoman for Logan.
I like his movies. I like him. I like when I like his acting style. I think he's great. Yes, the movies he was in when he portrayed Batman, were they the best movies? No. I love him, but it wasn't the greatest. That's fine. The movies as a whole weren't that great, but him as being Batman, I don't think he did a bad job.
Yeah.
I think he did a very good job. The Snyder Cut, you got to see more of that vision.
Yeah.
And him being a Batman. In Batman v Superman, I still, with even the extended cut, I still not a huge fan of that movie. I don't think it's a bad movie. I'm just not a huge fan of it. But Batfleck, I do like Batfleck.
Yeah. And, I think what we'll do is, before Logan goes too deep into his favorite Batman, I think we'll probably soon here launch a series of Batman, and then towards the end of it, go over who is our favorite Batman and get that feedback from y'all
because the main reason why I wanted to do the Tim Burton verse is because I wanted to talk about this, which I know a lot of people are going to start talking about this soon, because we got the Flash movie coming out.
Yeah.
And that's why I was like, okay, well, let's say easy. We've already talked about Tim Burton before. Let's talk about him a little bit more, and let's talk about the Batman series, because they're good movies to talk about. And so far, like the most current movie that we've talked about is True Lies, and then that's 1996.
Yeah.
And I kind of like keeping that trend. It's just talking about, I don't want to talk about too much of the newer movies and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, our biggest goal here and our biggest passion for Logan and I think Logan would agree, is to bring you guys some type of nostalgia, because nostalgia feels good. I think, nostalgia is soup for the soul, essentially.
I agree. You're 100% right on that. I really do. I feel like what we're doing, what
we hope to do,
what we hope to, like, once we get I get more going, because there's a lot more movies I would like to talk about, but I'm not gonna lie, I feel like they wouldn't do well, and no one wants. I know there's people that are gonna want to hear it.
Well, don't make it sound like a woe is me.
No. I'm just saying like there's some movies that I really want to talk about, but I'm just waiting till later to talk about. That's all I'm saying. Like
So yeah, back to Batman. Batman Returns. So did you name all your favorite parts?
Yeah, the ending scene with Matt Schreck and Catwoman, I like that.
That just seemed a little basic for me.
You didn't like it?
It was cool, but it was like, okay, whatever.
I love the part where she's getting shot. she's like,
yeah, that part, yes, that part's good, but that whole fight scene is kind of just, I don't know. It wasn't the craziest, but it wasn't the most basic either. Yeah. I definitely feel like Batman, that fight scene's pretty basic, whatever. And this one was a little step up.
Well, you gotta. So these Tim Burton movies, they're not action movies. There's action takes place in them, so like you can't yes, the movies that came after this,
you can't compare them all apples to apples.
Yeah,
they
the movies that came after this.
Oranges.
Yeah, the movies that came after this definitely were more action packed and more visually fun to look at and stuff like that. These movies were. I feel like it was more like good storytelling.
Yeah. And good aesthetic. You get a feel for Gotham.
Yes. Gotham feels like Gotham. Yeah. Gotham feels like Gotham in these movies. And like I said, Batman Begins, Gotham feels like Gotham in Batman Begins.
Yeah.
But after Batman Begins, it doesn't feel like Gotham anymore. For me. That's just me.
Yeah. So what would you say is your favorite between Batman and Batman Returns?
Oh, it's this one.
Yeah, I would agree.
Hands down. I mean, I know a lot of people are going to disagree and say this is the weaker of the two.
Yeah, definitely let us know what your guys' favorite is. We are up for controversy.
I love this movie. I love this movie. This movie is fun. I love the characters. I love the Max Schreck character, Christopher Walken. He's just fucking creepy and just mean and just a bad guy.
Play a good character.
Michelle Pfeiffer as Selena Kyle, Catwoman.
Yeah,
just nails it on the head.
Yeah.
Yes, it's weird.
Like, she's delusional, she's crazy, but she also has that, again, she's attractive, but she's still off her rocker in some ways, and you can kind of tell, why. So, yeah, it has more intricacies, but I would definitely say I like Batman Returns more as well.
Yeah, and like I understand like the storyline, the mythos behind it, and her being Catwoman. It's just weird. It doesn't really make sense. I don't care. I like it. I don't care. I don't care that magically through the power of cats comes back to life and has 9 lives. I don't give a shit about that. I don't care that that's weird and I don't care that that's weird because I'm all for it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean.
It doesn't need to make sense for me.
Well, yeah, I mean, the way people become villains and the way people become superheroes doesn't necessarily need to make sense. It's a fantasy world.
Yeah.
So it is what you make it. It is what you're looking for.
And it's my favorite time of year. It's winter.
Yeah.
So like everything's. I mean, it's the Batman suit looks good. I will say with the Batman suit, I wish the abs were the same. Instead of having more of a body armor look, but I do like the Batman suit a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Batman car is fucking phenomenal.
Yeah. Logan likes the Batman car a lot in this one.
Oh, yeah, 100%. It's so, both of them are, God, I can go on.
Yeah.
My cousin Bradley had the toy growing up, and I swear to God, I wanted it so bad, the one that turns into the little motorcycle thingy and stuff like that. But that I always wanted that toy, and that was one toy I never got. I need to find that.
Yeah, so that's our favorite out of the two. That's our breakdown and some of our favorite points in both Batman and Batman Returns. Like I said, definitely let us know what your favorite is.
Yeah, let us know.
We all are up for controversy or different opinions. Not necessarily controversy, but we know that everyone has a knack for something and can pick why things are their favorite.
Hey, this is a judgment-free zone. You can be completely honest what you like, what you don't like. No judgment here.
We only judge each other.
Yes.
But yeah, so definitely let us know what your favorite is. And even though this is more of a comparison episode, as I always say, whether we like it, love it, or hate it, we're always going to talk to you guys about it. And yeah.
Yeah, thank you, everybody.
As usual, don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram or YouTube for hot and ready updates, as I like to call them, because we all love some hot and ready pizza.
Yes.
So, yeah, we appreciate it. Give us a rating if you're feeling frisky.
Yeah.
Catwoman, pun intended. So, yeah, we hope you guys have a great day, night, whatever it is your way, and we'll talk to you next time.
Yep, we'll see y'all about 2 weeks.
Bye.